So after the whole World of Warcraft thing fizzled out, oh, this is a long run on, that's not good. But after the World of Warcraft business kind of came to a fizzle, I got put out of business by the Chinese. They actually had real people in farming operations, literal farms with hundreds of people playing a game. They would be able to pay them about $1, $2 a day. And it's much harder for them to detect real human movements than programmatic movements, because they can use heuristics to detect my stuff. So I cut my losses, had very fortunate, made a ton of money, and I said, you know what? I can just go out and get an awesome job, and this is going to be great. I said, man, I'm really good at technology. I could program. I could do cool things with a computer. Technology companies in Palm Coast Data, what's up? I walk in there, and I walk past the server room, and they're mounting tapes, hard drive tapes, and moving them around. I'm thinking, what are those? I'm thinking, are those hard drive tapes? So they show me to my desk in my computer, and it's an AS400, which green screen, one by one, you're running COBOL, and yeah, So I envisioned myself changing the world at Palm Coast Data, and a lot of my ideas were kind of ahead of the curve. I could automate a lot of things. My job at Palm Coast Data, believe it or not, they would print out these. So I was responsible for when you guys get magazines, depending on your geographic and how much money you make, all sorts of different criteria, you get different ads in your magazines. I might get the World of Warcraft ad, and you might get the Ferrari ad. And that's how advertisers pay. They say, I want to target this specific demographic when I sell these ads. So they would print out these XML spreadsheets on literal paper, and they would give me a stack like this, and they'd say, okay, now take them from this email that we just printed out and re-input them into that computer over there. And I said, why don't you just program it to go from there to there? And they said, well, you can't do that. This is how we've always done it. I said, all right. So sure enough, I built a program that took some of the operations. So Parenting Magazine, when you have a child, you get signed up for Parenting Magazine, and it's one of the biggest jobs that Palm Coast Data has at the time. I'm not sure where they sit now, but basically it was this stack, which instead of this big, it was this big for all the demographic splits, because everybody has babies from every demographic. And that job would usually take about 4 days manual entry. Turned it into a 45-second job. So I remember the day when I went and I showed my boss the software that I had built, and I'll never forget it, and I'm not afraid to tell the story because he no longer works there. I said, Troy, look what I built, and silence. And he said, Nick, I want to ask you a serious question. Without any Indians, what good's the chief? And he said, if you show this to everybody else, they're going to say I don't need anybody else to work for me, so why don't you get an office on the other side of the building, and we'll put you to salary, and you come in every day, you do your job, and everything's going to be okay. I said, that works for me, great. So that's when I was going to school. So I would go to school, I would go to work, and make sure that everything ran appropriately. I no longer had to put in the normal grind of entering one thing to another. All my coworkers were kind of intrigued on how everything always was flawless, and they're, wow, a human's not flawless. And I said, I know a human's not flawless because it's not a human who's entering the data. So after a while, I started to get bored at work, and I graduated with my AA from Daytona State College. And this is an example of my resume that I had made for Palm Coast Data. And one of the biggest things I've always believed in is just trying to be different with a purpose. Don't be different just to be different, but be different because you're trying to accomplish something. You want to be recognized. Just because everybody's turning right, don't turn left unless you have a game plan on why turning left is going to be better for you. There's a reason why people do things, and if it's historically the right way, going the opposite direction doesn't guarantee success. So I said, okay, visual resume, great. I did the same thing for when I started applying to real programming jobs. I actually remember telling my boss, I need more out of my life. I'm coming in here, I'm going to school, I'm going to the driving range, I'm coming here to make sure that everything is operating okay while I'm not here. So this is, I feel like at my age, I feel like I could do something more. And he said, you're 100% right. And that was sad because it was kind of a stepping stone. It was like, wow, it's my first real job.